All right, good evening, everyone. I want to welcome us to the second class of this training, mastering data analysis techniques in research. So this is like a practical session, and it's not going to be long, okay? Not like yesterday. So if you can hear me, can you please signify? Just raise your hand. If I'm audible, the mouth of one or two weaknesses. Okay, so all right, thank you. So that means I'm audible. Okay, all right, thank you. So I hope everybody have gone to the class we had yesterday. If you've not gone through it, please go through it. It's very important. A lot of things I'll be doing tonight relies on what we discussed yesterday. Okay, please go through it. And if you have questions, you can always send me a personal WhatsApp message. I will take some time out to respond to you. Okay, all right. So tonight we'll be looking at the practical session of what we taught yesterday, or sorry, what we learned yesterday. And in the next 45 minutes, we should be done with this training tonight because I have another engagement tonight. So please let's remember this is data analysis techniques in research. This is not data analysis course with IBM SPSS. Let's separate the two before we start tonight. Okay, this free webinar, free training is data analysis techniques in research. That is you understanding the different techniques we have under data analysis that we use in research. You mastering them. Now, it's different from saying data analysis with SPSS course. That is you learning data analysis with a software called SPSS. Are you with me? So let me start. Let me just give us all the softwares we have in the world of data analysis so that you have knowledge of them and how they are used. Okay? Before we start our training tonight. So we'll be starting from here, but let me just briefly give us the different softwares we have under data analysis. But let me say this. You see, data analysis is a broad topic. Are you with me? If you ask people, if they say I'm a data analyst, most people will be thinking that the person is saying is a data analyst and is working for an organization. That's what most people will be thinking. Now, we have two parts of data analysis. We have data analysis for organization, and we have data analysis for research. So you can either become a data analyst for organization or become a data analyst in the research world. This training is data analysis in the research world, the techniques. So I'm trying to say this so that you don't confuse them together. A lot of time in the past, I take a training called Introduction into the World of Data Analysis. It's a webinar. The last time I did it was around maybe 5 years ago, 7 years ago. I don't do it again. But I can still remember. Introduction into the world of data analysis. You know, how do you start off when you want to get into the field of data analysis? And in that webinar, I separated the two. Are you with me? So if you are talking about data analysis in the organizations, that is you working for companies, you analyzing their data. The softwares you are going to use will be different from the data analysis in the research world. What separates the two are softwares. Are you with me? They are softwares. But after that, you must also have the knowledge on how to work both. Are you with me? Now, the software we use in the organizational setting, we have Excel. Excel is the most important data analysis software you have to master if you want to work for organization. You have to master SPSS. Okay, so you have to master Excel rather for organization. Then after that, you master Power BI, you master Tableau, you master SQL. Are you with me? But you know what? AI have changed the whole world now. AI have changed a lot of things. So I would say after you master SPSS, after you master Excel, master AI. How do you use AI for data analysis? Okay, then you can now master Tableau. You can master Power BI. But those three softwares is not for you. Master Excel, master AI, and master Power BI if you want to get into the world of data analytics for organization. Now, if you want to get to the world of data analysis for research, you master the first software you must master in the research world is SPSS. IBM SPSS. But this was the first software I learned around 9 years ago. The first software I learned was SPSS. And I found out that close to 85% of fields in the research uses SPSS for their data analysis. Are you with me? Now, currently now, the world is now increasing and a lot of things are happening. So people are venturing into another software called Stata and eView.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Sorry for the information.
Okay. How come your voice is out? What is concerning? Just be moved on entry. Okay, all right. So let's continue. Sorry about that. So in the research world, the first one is what? IBM SPSS. The second one is Stata. Stata is an advanced data analysis software that we use in research. If you want to work for a top organization as a researcher, are you with me? You know, we have organizations that are into research. It's different from companies hiring data analytics guys. But I'm talking of a research company like WHO. So you're a researcher, you want to work for a company, you must also master Stata. Now, if you are in some fields like economics, like social sciences, like statistics field, you must master Stata also. If you are in mathematics, you must master Stata. Then another software you need to master is Excel. So in the world of data analysis for organization, Excel is the first software. In the world of data analysis in research, Excel is the third software. Okay, the third software. Why? Because most people use SPSS. But when people are collecting data, people use Excel to collect data. If you use Google Form, your Google Form data will come out through Excel. Your Cobalt, there is an app we use to collect data. Cobalt is one of them. Your Cobalt data collection tool will come through Excel. The data set will come through Excel. So you have to learn how to use Excel. Are you with me? So I just needed to create that understanding tonight for us so that you know what you are dealing with. So as I was saying, this training is not on data analysis with SPSS. That is a special course. That's when I take people on how to use that software to analyze data. Are you with me? So Let's get that out. So now, let's go back to our practical class tonight. Data analysis technique in research. Now, this is a work I did in the past for, you can see now, Prague University of Economics Business, Faculty of Informatics and Statistics. So I will go straight to the objective of this research. Right, so I helped the person to write the whole research some times ago. All right, so this objective I gave the person and approved by the supervisor. So this is research questions. Where's the objective? Examine the financial inclusion issues faced by SMEs in Lagos State. Now, remember what I said yesterday? I spoke about data a lot yesterday. And I spoke about data from a dimension of, we have quantitative data, we have qualitative data, and we have mixed method research data. And all these have influence on the objective of the research. If your research is quantitative, you are going to see it from the objective, even from the topic. Are you with me? If it's qualitative, you are going to sense it from the topic also. Okay, so now let's look at this. It says, examine the financial inclusion issues faced by SMEs in Lagos State. Look at that objective 1. Now, yesterday I explained, I said that you must understand different type of objective that we have. We have objective that is a singular variable objective, and we have objective that has more than one variable. Are you with me? So this is the practical aspect. So look at this objective 1. Examine the financial I don't know why people are calling me, and they know I'm in class. So if you know I'm in class, why are you calling me? You should just join the class. So examine the financial inclusion faced by SMEs in Lagos State. This is a singular variable objective. Financial inclusion issues faced by SME. This is the variable. Financial inclusion issues faced by SME. So looking at this objective now, yesterday I told us we are going to use what? Descriptive analysis to analyze this objective. Are you with me? Now, the objective 2. The objective 2. We have identify fintech companies enabling financial inclusion of SMEs in Lagos State. Please, if you can hear me, can you raise your hand? It's as if some people cannot hear me. So I think that's why people are calling me. Is that the reason why? So you can hear me. All right. So that's the reason why they are calling me. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So now look at the objective 2. Identify fintech companies enabling financial inclusion of SME in Lagos State. That is also a singular variable objective. Identifying fintech companies enabling financial inclusion of SMEs in Lagos State. That's also one singular variable. You are identifying something. Are you with me? All right. So that means you're also using what? You're also using descriptive analysis for that second objective. Okay. Now the third objective, examine the impact of fintech companies functions on the financial inclusion of SME in Lagos State. Examine the impact of fintech company functions on the financial inclusion of SMEs in Lagos State. Now, fintech company functions is a variable on its own. Financial inclusion of SMEs is another variable. So you say examine this impact of this variable on this variable. So automatically we have 2 variables: fintech company functions and financial inclusion of SMEs. Impact of the first one against the second one. So we have what? We have 2 variables there. Okay, so we are using inferential statistics. We just don't know the type of inferential statistics we are using, but we are using inferential statistics. Are you with me? All right. Now, examine the impacts of financial inclusion on the performance of SME. Impact of financial inclusion. So we have financial inclusion as a variable on performance of SME as another variable. So we have, so it means that objective 1 and 2, they are what? They are descriptive. Objective 3 and 4 are what? They are inferential statistics. Am I making sense? Good. All right, we've done that already. Now let's go to the chapter 3 that was approved by the supervisor. I told you yesterday that you must make sure of a lot of things before you say you analyze a data effectively. I called it checklist. One of them is that you confirm the objectives. Then the next one is that you check the methodology. Then after you check the data set, you check the questionnaire that doesn't measure the objective. You should also check that. But I don't know if there's a questionnaire at the back of this work. Okay, there is. All right, so let me copy it out. All right, let me copy it out. Let me just. Sorry, I want to copy the objective. So let's just confirm the objective against the questionnaire and be sure that the questionnaire measure the objective. All right, so what's the first objective of this work? Examine the financial inclusion issue faced by SME. So let's see, do you have questions on that? Of course, when you're examining the questionnaire, you need to have this section here. We call it socioeconomic characteristics. You need to have it. Okay. So financial issue faced by SME in Lagos State. So we have it. Yeah, so this is a question we have. So we have it. That's section B. Okay, good. All right. Second objective, identify fintech companies enabling financial inclusion of SME in Lagos State. Now, somebody can be saying that I thought this person is in Prague. Why is she doing research in Lagos State? Of course, she's in Prague, but she was told to pick a topic that she can easily get the data. You know, that's what most people don't understand. Pick a topic that you can easily gather this data, the data set. So, of course, she knows people in Nigeria that can help her to collect the data. That's why she picked Nigeria. If she picked Prague, how will she collect data in Prague? Most people don't know that it is difficult for Nigerians or Africans to collect data in the UK or US or some other European countries. It's difficult. They won't give you the consent letter. All right, to just drag and drag and drag. I've been doing this for the past 6-7 years, writing for international students. So I tell them, if you know that you want to collect live data, why don't you tailor your work to this place where we can easily help you to collect data here? But if you want to use that place, then you have to pick a topic that it will not require you to write a consent letter to a company. So meaning that you are picking a topic that you can easily collect the data in the public. No, you don't have to write a consent letter to anybody. That's the only research you can do at international level if you want to collect data there. Am I making sense? Like a research that is dealing with married men in your neighborhood. You don't have to write a letter to anybody to approach any married men or women in your neighborhood. But if you are dealing with a research over there that is tailored towards staff of organizations, staff of multinational companies, then you have to write a letter. Because you can't approach those staffs without the consent letter. But they won't grant it because we are black. Tell you have seen it several times. So this person tailored our research to Lagos while she's there, and it was approved by the supervisor. In case somebody is thinking how it's happening, how can that happen? Yes, you can do that. You can write a paper in Sierra Leone and tailor it to Canada. Maybe because you have somebody in Canada that can help you to collect the data. You don't have to be in Canada yourself. So somebody is there that can help you to do the work to collect the data. Or you can use a secondary data. Okay, so that's just by the way. So now this the objective. So objective 2 now, identify the fintech companies enabling financial inclusion of SME in Lagos State. Fintech companies enabling financial inclusion. Fintech companies enabling financial inclusions. All right, we have it. Section C, we have that. We have that in our questionnaire. Okay, good. Examine the impact of fintech company functions on the financial inclusion of SME in Lagos State. Look at the impact of fintech company functions. Now, I told us this particular objective is what is a 2 variable objective. We have fintech company functions as a variable, and we have financial inclusion of SME as another variable. Now, we've measured financial inclusion issues. We've mentioned issues, but we've not measured financial inclusion itself, but we've measured financial inclusion issues. So meaning that for us to analyze this objective, we need data set on financial company functions and data set on financial inclusion of SMEs in Lagos State. Are you with me? We need those 2 data sets. Or we can just draw a table that shows strongly agree and those kind of options, and then list some statement out that will capture the impact of this on this. I don't know if I'm making sense. Instead of you separating the tables of this first variable and separate the tables of this second variable, you join them together and then you put an option there. Do you agree? Do you not agree? You understand? Okay. Now I'll tell you the negative impact of that. Where you try to create a table that measure both together. The objective is a 2 variable objective, but you decided to formulate a table in your questionnaire that measure the 2 together. Once you do that, that objective ought to be used with inferential statistics. But the way you design your questionnaire, you brought the 2 variables together. What you are trying to say is that you are going to use descriptive. So now let's check it out. Let's see what they use here, or what we use rather. We are the one that used it. So fintech company function was separated. Thank you. So we have question of fintech company functions separately. Okay, so let's look at if you have questions on financial inclusion of SMEs. Yes, examine the financial inclusion of SMEs. So we have them separately. So automatically now we can use inferential statistics. Okay, now let's go down. What was the 3rd objective? It's saying the impact of financial inclusion on the performance. So now this 3rd objective, we have impact of this is 1 variable, and then this performance is another variable. Now we have financial inclusion table already. Am I right? You've measured financial inclusion already based on this objective 3. Financial inclusion, we've already measured it. So the only variable we've not measured here in this objective 4, it is performance. We have data set on financial inclusion already. So performance. So meaning that the table I will need to draw out, the questions I will need to draw out is the question on performance. So examine the performance of SME in Lagos State. So this is what we have here. We have that here now. Am I right? Now let's now assume that we have an hypothesis. Hypothesis. So we have H1. That is null hypothesis. We have financial inclusion is not significantly correlated. Is not significant. Okay, let's say there's no significant relationship. Let's just say that there's no significant relationship between financial inclusion and what can we say now? And SMEs want yearly income or yearly profits. So there's no correlation between financial inclusion and SME yearly profits in Lagos State. Bear with me, I want to show you something. So now these are hypotheses. When we are designing your questionnaire, you must also check your hypothesis. Check the variables of your hypothesis. Now, we have financial inclusion. Based on this hypothesis, we have financial inclusion as a variable, and we have SME yearly profits as another variable. Am I right? Am I right? All right. So now, look at this hypothesis. When we are designing our questionnaire, the financial inclusion has been added. We have it here. Am I right? Financial inclusion is an objective. So definitely we have the variables for financial inclusion. We have the questions to measure financial inclusion. But we don't have the question to measure SME's yearly profits. We don't have the question. So meaning that if you want to analyze this hypothesis, we must form questions to measure the SME yearly profit. If you don't have the question to measure SME yearly profits and the person have collected the data, this hypothesis will not be analyzed, or let me say cannot be analyzed. Am I making sense? That is why when people are adding to the objective and they finish collecting data, it doesn't make sense. I'll finish collecting my data, and you are not saying that, please, can you add this hypothesis to your work? Can you add this objective to your work? The question is that, how do you want me to analyze the objective? I'm already done collecting data to the questionnaire. The only way I can analyze the new objective is that I will need to add the questions for that objective in my questionnaire, and I will need to go back to the field to go and collect data for that objective alone. So that's why it's very, very tricky. If you are designing your questionnaire or you are trying to measure the variables of your objective and your hypothesis, make sure all the variables are captured in your questionnaire. Make sure they are captured. All right, so let's quickly go to the chapter 3 of this one. Let's see what we have there. So what do I want to check under chapter 3? the first thing I want to check is that, is this work primary data or secondary data? So the primary research or secondary research? From the objective, this work is the primary research. Primary research is when you are trying to collect data live. You understand? So primary data. So derivative is primary. Then I want to check, is this work quantitative research or qualitative? From the objective, it is quantitative. But we are going to check it under the methodology. Research design. Research seeks to evaluate the impact of, okay, this investigation necessitates a descriptive survey, a research design tailored for quantitative analysis. So this is quantitative research. All right, so automatically I'm started thinking of how I can analyze it quantitatively. All right, so that's a quantitative research. So the sample size is 100, meaning that I'm looking for a sample size. Sample size is 100, meaning that my data must be 100 or above. Data collection technique, Google Form was used to collect the data. Then it was sent to Excel, and from Excel it was converted to SPSS. Okay, so I'm looking at the ability test. So the ability test was carried out. 0.72 was determined. Well, I don't think I can explain that to you right now. I can't explain this right now. Sorry about that, but I just showed us. Now, data analysis method. That's where I'm going. Data analysis method. Please, if you're a researcher and you are here and you are hearing me, once you get to this part of your work, please make sure you are specific. Make sure you are what? You are specific. Be specific, please. Be what? Be specific in you telling us the technique to use. Now look at it. The statistics, including frequency tables, means, percentage were employed to summarize the demographic characteristics of the respondent, and objective 1 to 4 of the study. Okay, so meaning that 1 to 4, descriptive analysis was used. That's the first thing. To analyze objective 5, the relationship between the variables will be examined using inferential statistics, specifically regression analysis. Now there is a problem because the objective 5 has been deleted. One objective has been deleted. So this methodology ought to have changed. I did not change it because I want to show us. Are you with me? I want to show us. You understand? Your methodology, data analysis techniques must correlate with your objective. Based on what I just read now, there's no correlation. Because the objective 3 and 4, we ought to use what? Inferential statistics, meaning that descriptive analysis ought to go for only objective 1 and 2. So the objective of this research has been corrected, but the methodology aspect was not corrected. So don't be confused. The first thing is that you yourself must understand the analysis technique, because you can collect a work that can mislead you. I'm making sense. You can collect a work that can mislead you. This methodology was not changed, and the objective has been changed. So by the time you are analyzing, what should you do about this? You call the person and you ask the person, sorry, you said in your data analysis techniques under your chapter 3, you said analyze 5 objectives. You said to analyze goal 5. Sorry, you don't have the 5th objective in your work. That's when the person will now tell you, sorry, we've changed the objectives, and sorry, the techniques also have changed. I'm sorry, I did not inform you. But if you don't know what you are doing, you just start analysis, and then you are going to enter problem. So please, let's note that. So this is a regression model that was designed. So the chapter 4. So now, all the variables of the socioeconomic characteristics, you use descriptive analysis for it. You analyze it and then you interpret it. Okay, I'm not showing us how to analyze, but that's is a paid class training. That's the training on SPSS. But I'm not showing us that. Okay, so I want to show us something. Objective 1. So all this analysis that we did here is to increase the number of pages of this work. We have to do this analysis and then to make it more beautiful. Now look at it. Objective 1. So when you're analyzing, please, you must analyze all the objectives. It's very important. Objective 1, financial inclusion faced. You can see that we use descriptive analysis to measure it. Okay, as a percentage, and this is the interpretation of it. Objective 2, identify financial technology companies enabling financial inclusion. All right, we analyze it, and this interpretation of it. Now, objective 3 is what? Impact of the effect of financial company functions on what? Our financial inclusion. That's objective 3. Okay, but before we do that, we need to analyze the variable. So we analyze fintech company function first. We analyze financial inclusion. When financial inclusion is already up, I want to show you something. Please, just follow me. This is objective 3, impact of financial company function on financial inclusion. Before we jump here, we need to analyze financial company functions first separately. And we analyze financial inclusion separately. Then we now come to objective 3, we now analyze them together, which is what we need to do actually. So that's what we did here. We analyze the function separately using descriptive. The inclusion has been analyzed in the 4.1. All right, this is the inclusion analysis. Sorry, it's not this. Yeah, this is the financial inclusion analysis that's been done already. Okay, so now we now do objective 3. So we now do objective 3, examine the impacts of financial technology company function on financial inclusion. Now we use correlation analysis for it. I told you yesterday, the first thing you will have to look at relationship. Relationship deals with what? Correlation and regression. Associations, significant difference deals with what? Deals with chi-square and ANOVA, majorly chi-square. I told us that yesterday. And I told us that correlation and regression use what? Use numerical data. Okay. Chi-square use what? Use what's that? Use categorical data. I told us that yesterday. Now look at these variables that we have. Impact of financial technology company functions, the function, and then financial inclusion. The two of them, based on the questionnaire that we have, two of them are categorical. Remember that they have options. The way they were measured in the questionnaire, they have options. Are you with me? They have options. Let's check them out. Now, fintech company functions, you can see down. It has options. So let's go to financial inclusion. Financial inclusion also has options, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. You can see. So basically, we should not be able to use correlation analysis for this analysis, for this objective. But that is what the supervisor wants. He wants us to use either correlation or regression. But the variable does not support it. So what do? There's a place under SPSS where you can change the variable to numerical. Yeah, you change it. Once you change to numerical, SPSS will allow you to use the variable to do correlation analysis or regression analysis. It will allow you. It's like you bypass, you went through the back door. That's what it means. Because that's what the supervisor wants. But that does not mean that is right. But you must always go with the supervisor. The idea that will mark you. The problem is now that when this person wants to publish, the publisher, the peer review people will now look at it. I will now say, this your correlation shouldn't have worked. Please, can you redo this analysis again? That's what they will say. That's what they will say. Am I making sense? That's what they will tell you. Please redo this analysis. Meaning that you don't go and address it from the grassroots from your questionnaire, or you change the analysis to chi-square. And if you are doing that, it means that you now have to change the statement. It will now look like examine the association between or something. I hope we got that information. Good. All right. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed that practical class, that practical session of this work. Good. Now I want to show us this work. This is another work I want to show us now. Of course, if you are a data analyst, you know how the SPS analysis look like. You know the interpretation. There's something called significant value. This SIG value is what we use to interpret the analysis. Okay. Well, you need to have this understanding if you want to really understand the data analysis techniques we use in research. You have to understand how the software works, how the software brought this value out, how you interpret it. Okay. All right. There's a work I want to show us now. I'll show us briefly. Now, this work I want to show us here is very important. Is a PhD research work. If you can see it here, you can see this 274 pages. 274 pages. It is 74,923 words in total for this research. It's a PhD research. All right, that we concluded this research last year, October. The person is currently publishing this research right now. Okay, so I want to show us the objective of the research. All right, so we have 6 objectives in total for this research. Now, what was the main aim? It's a medical research actually, to determine domestic violence and abuse in pregnancy, exploring disclosure, non-disclosure, and conflict resolution strategies in South Nigeria. I'm sure that you notice the word exploring. And if you can remember yesterday, I said when you have exploring, your mind should be tuning to what? Tuning to qualitative analysis, qualitative research. Okay, all right. Now, but he says but we have a statement here. He said to determine. To determine goes in line with what? Goes in line with quantitative research. Exploring goes in line with what? Qualitative research. So meaning that this research is what? Is a mixed method research. Are you with me? Meaning that this research is a mixed method research. Now, looking at this, please, it's very important that you are both analyst and researcher. But when most people start from my training, they will say, please, I want to take the 2 courses together, the research course and the analysis course. That's the best. That's the best you can do because they enter each other. Okay. Now, look at this first objective. Determine the prevalence of DVA, domestic violence. Was the A part of it? Domestic violence and abuse. Women attending ANC, antenatal care in South Nigeria. Because it's a PhD research. So South Nigeria. Let me tell you something. When you're dealing with research, your data collection area is very important. As an undergraduate, they expect you that your data collection area is small, is little. So that's maybe you can use a local government, can use a small community, a village as for undergraduates. For master level, they can now say you are using a city for data collection. PhD level, you are using like a state or 3 states together. Yeah, this is a PhD research, so you need to do more, you have to be more stressed. I don't want to use Yoruba. Yoruba is you have to go through more problem, have more wahala. I don't know, but that's how it is. So we have South Africa. So now looking at the first objective, prevalence of DVA experienced by pregnant women, automatically this first objective is what is descriptive. Assess the pattern of DVA experienced by pregnant women is also descriptive. Pattern. If you are doing pattern, then you are using line graph. And most likely you are going to use Excel for that. Now, assess the factors that influence a pregnant woman's decision to disclosure. Factors that influence. So this one, you can either use factor analysis. I did not take us that yesterday, but you can also use descriptive, depending on how the questionnaires is formed. Factor that influence. So we have factors available that influence is influencing what? Is influencing decisions. So in this kind of objective, you use the socioeconomic characteristics as the factors. You use it to analyze the decisions. So how does the age of the pregnant woman, how does it affect their decision? How does the religion, how does it affect their decision? How does their educational status of pregnant women, how does it affect their decision? Factors affecting, influencing. All right. The marital status. Okay. Is it divorced? Is it still married? Is it widowed? You understand? How does it affect their decision? So we are going to use the socioeconomic characteristics, the demographic. That should be the section A. We are going to use it to analyze the decisions of the pregnant woman. So you must understand very well when you say factors that affect, you sit down, you look at it. How can I analyze this objective? Factors that affect. It's not telling us about the factors, but you must think directly that the factors they are referring to here is the factors of the socio-economic characteristics. They don't have to mention it. You as a data analyst must know. Or you go to the methodology. If the person states it there, that the factors I'm talking about under the under objective 3 is what? Is socioeconomic characteristics. So that is objective 4. Objective 3. Objective 4. Assess the factors influences the same thing. Now this one is disclosure. This is non-disclosure. So there are two separate variables. Objective 5. Identify the coping strategies utilized by pregnant women. Coping strategies. Objective 6. Determine the effect of DVA on physical and mental health. Now, if you look at all these objectives, you are not going to see qualitative objective here. Am I right? You are not going to see qualitative objective here. But that is how the supervisor wants it, like this in the objective. But when we are designing the questionnaire, the supervisor told us that objective 5 and 6, we want us to use qualitative analysis. So the questionnaire for 5 and 6, they were designed separately. Now, what does that mean? It means that, please, don't just depend on the objective. Go to the methodology. Check it out. And ask the client a very serious question. Please, how do you want to analyze the objective? What did your supervisor say? It's very important. Very, very important. Okay? So let's go to the analysis as we round up to should we round up? I have another work I want to quickly show us. And time has gone already. Okay, so this is a mixed method research. Please, you must know how to write a very good methodology. It's very important as a researcher. Know how to write a methodology. It's very important. So this sample size, this is a quantitative sample size. So you can see that sample size, quantitative component will be, so 1,720 pregnant women attended the antenatal. So qualitative component will include about 5 in-depth interview of pregnant women. So we have quantitative, we have qualitative. So 5 in-depth interviews for qualitative sampling method. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you can see discrete analysis, statistics of summarize prevalence and patterns of abuse, while for statistics examine the relation between variables. Relation analysis identify the predator of disclosure and non-disclosure, and Cascade tests assess associations between socioeconomic factors and violence exposure. Semantic analysis will be employed to transcribe and code interview and focus group data using in vivo software. You understand? So please make sure you go through this methodology to determine how the analysis should be done. So let me quickly show us the last one I want to show us tonight before we round up. Now, why do I want to show us this particular research? It's also an international research. Why? This one I just showed us, this is a Nigerian research. Where is this now? Yeah, this is a Nigerian research. Okay. I think I have a Sierra Leone research somewhere and some of my research from Ghana. They're on this system. But I just have to pick some research for us just to explain. Okay. The abstracts. Now let's look at this objective of this research. So let's look at this objective. Look at the objective of the research. Examine the effect of economic policy of Nigeria on the growth of multinational corporations. Evaluate the effect of micro environment on growth of multinational corporations. Evaluate the effect of energy subsidy removal on the growth of multinational corporations in Nigeria. The question is, you look at the objective. Do you think we can use questionnaire to analyze this objective? No, we cannot. How do you want to measure economic policy? Who are the people that you want to ask the question? Who are your respondents that will be telling you the process of economic policy? You can't find. Second one, effect of micro environment on growth of multinational corporations. How many corporations do you now want to visit? Third one, the effect of energy subsidy removal. Are you the president? Do you want to assess? How do you want to assess the president? Because it's one that removed the subsidy removal on the growth of multinational corporations in Nigeria. So when you see some objective, there's a reason why I brought this project out for us. So I don't think everything is very easy. It's very easy. Some objectives are crazy. When you see some objective, the best you can do is just go in line with secondary data set. This is a secondary data research. And then how do you confirm that? You go to the methodology. Research methodology. Sorry. Where are you? Now look at it. The methodology helps the researcher to comprehend, okay, So let's go down. Okay, I want to say where we are, where we know there is a secondary data. That's really, it's not this. All right, look at this. The research strategy will incorporate secondary data collection for the study data collection. Now look at the source of data collection. Secondary data will be used for this study. So as a data analyst or somebody that wants to master these techniques, you have to understand the secondary data and the primary data. Okay, all right. You know, when I'm taking trainings on data analysis, I do both secondary and primary so that my student will be able to analyze both together. Be able to analyze both. So we can now see that how they'll be measured have been shown already. So economic policy will be measured with exchange rate, export and import. I have to go and look for a way to measure economic policy. But when the supervisor sanctioned those objectives, I needed to pull out my years of research to find a way around it. How can I measure economic policy? I want to go and do a lot of research. So I noticed that we can use exchange rates, export and export to measure the policy. So I have to look at the exchange rate of Nigeria, go and get it, export and import of Nigeria, but this work is in Nigeria. If this work is in UK, I have to go and look for exchange rate in UK and download this for some years. So I did that for all the variables of this research. Look for the how I can measure them. And then I went to do the chapter 4. Are you with me? This is a regression analysis that was done. So this is significant. This is significant. This is not significant. Okay. All right. So we are running up tonight. Questions from us? Questions, please. Anybody with a question? You can raise your hand. I will unmute you. I told us I have another training. Okay, so I'm Mr. Kabu Abubakar. You're muted. I'll only take 3 questions.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
I
evening.
want to ask if the methodology that initially integrates both the quantity and the quality is an example of the explanatory sequential design. Are they mixed? Are they mixed research?
Yes, they are mixed research. Yes, they are mixed.
Okay. So, sorry, sir. Once more again, and the explanatory sequential design, you can also use it as a mixed research, sir.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Okay. All right. Okay. Med, Mr. Med or Miss Med, you are muted.
Okay. Prof, thank you very much for the opportunity. In fact, we really enjoyed your submission. Please, I want to find out, like you already said at the middle of the presentation about the hypothesis. So when you finish and your supervisor suggests that you should include the hypothesis, how will you manage your way so that it will not affect the whole work? But particularly when you finish with data collection, how will you manage your way so that it will really fix for the purpose that he's suggesting for you? Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, well, the answer is very simple. If you're asked to put hypothesis in your work and you've already collected your data, then you make sure that the variables of the hypothesis are selected from the variable of the objective. Now, let me explain. You know that your questionnaires or data collection to anyone you used, they were tailored to suit your objective. Each objective was measured, and each variable were measured in the questionnaire, or any way you want to collect your data. They were captured. That's what I'm trying to say. Each variable of the objective were captured. Now they asked you to form an hypothesis. So automatically, those variables that were captured is what you are going to use to form the hypothesis. You will not pick another variable that were not captured. So that now, if you look at the work I showed us, one of the variables of the hypothesis were not captured. So assuming I've collected my data, I will delete that variable. I will bring another variable that were captured and replace it with it. And then I will have an hypothesis that I can test. Do you get it, sir? All right. I believe you did. I believe you did. All right. Any other question? Okay. So, in the absence of question, please, if you have, how would I say it now? Any question to ask me personally, you can send it to my WhatsApp. I have another meeting now, so maybe by tomorrow I will respond, and then we can have a discussion on my personal line. Okay. So thank you everyone for this training, for joining. The recording might not be sent tonight, but will be sent tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Good night. All right. Good night, everyone.